What's up, Bulldogs? Today I wanted to talk about how to gain control in your life. All right, this one is inspired by my daughter. I had a conversation with her last night. She's reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle for her reading. We do a 20-minute reading every single night. And something came up, and she was basically frustrated because she felt like people had control over her and they shouldn't have control over her life. And the thing that I told her was that in order to gain control, what you have to do is you have to sort of ignore other people, right? You don't allow people to control you. But if you're focused on trying to prevent people from controlling you, they are controlling you through your emotions because they're making you upset about them trying to control you, which is actually who's in control in that situation. They are. And so I think this is an important concept just to understand, is that if you want to gain more sovereignty in your life, if you want to be the king of your life, if you want to gain control, you have to focus on what you can control, which is only your internal, right? Again, this comes back to Stoic philosophy because Stoic philosophy is so correct, right? But the idea is that you have to control your thoughts and your actions. No one can make you feel something. No one can hurt you, right? Again, these are principles that you would hear of in Stoic philosophy, but they're such valuable life principles. And the thing that I was talking to her about also is this idea that negative energy, right? People are going to give you negative energy because she said, well, this girl at school, she's saying these things, and how do I respond to that? And I said, don't fight her. Don't fight it. If someone's giving you negative energy, the worst thing that you can do is to give them something to push against. Then they can magnify that negative energy. They can keep on doing. But if you don't give them something to push back against, then they can't be negative. They can't continue to flow the energy. So instead, the best thing to do is to take that negative energy and to turn it around, to accept it, push it through, and then switch it into positive energy. Feed them back the same energy that they're giving you. Don't block it. Allow it, but change it as it comes through you to be positive, and give that right back to them as positive energy. And the more that you do that, then the more that they throw negative, the more that they're going to get positive back, and they're eventually going to tire out and they're going to stop. And eventually they're going to actually start to become positive. For most people, that is going to occur. In fact, in that conversation, my daughter started out very negative. Okay. It was very negative, and it's such you can feel that negativity, and it brings a lot of people down. But I didn't let it. I didn't try to block it. I didn't try to tell her stop being negative. Sometimes I've been guilty of doing that in the past, and it doesn't work. If you try to tell someone to stop being negative, guess what they do? They become more negative, okay? Because you're trying to block that energy. Instead, I let her be that, but I took everything she was giving me, and I didn't block it, and I passed it through, and I gave it right back to her as positive energy to help her solve her problem. So the thing that you need to do if you want to gain control of your life is you need to stop trying to fight everyone, right? And the other thing we're talking about is that, look, if someone disagrees with you, if someone thinks little of you, because I think she was saying, well, this girl, she thinks that I'm helpless, and she was really upset about this, right? I said, okay, let her think that. Does it matter if she thinks that? Why does it matter to you if she thinks that? Okay. And then if you think about that, her responses were coming from this need to prove that she's not helpless to this person who's insignificant. It doesn't matter what their opinion is. And so fighting it. And so, again, you can be in a situation where a person is not doing things in your best interest, and they don't understand you, and they don't understand reality. They don't understand who you are, and that's okay. When that's not okay, when you're not willing to accept that, and you try to block that, and you try to now make this person believe the thing that they should. Have you ever argued on the internet? Then you know this, okay? What ends up happening is that you just frustrate yourself, and you feel like you're out of control. You feel like you don't have the control over your life. Right. I mean, we could talk about a whole nother video about whether you should even be trying to care about control and trying to control the external world. But this is kind of the same thing. The idea is that you're focusing on yourself, on having autonomy, if that's what you want. And so the thing is, you can just go with it. So this person says that you're helpless. Okay. Let them. Don't disagree with them. Why? Why disagree with them? Is there a need to disagree with them? There's no need to disagree with them. Let them believe the thing. Don't fight them on it. Let it be what it is. That's fine. Okay. So let them feel that way. They say, hey, you messed up. Say, yes, you're right. I did mess up. Well, you like, this is ridiculous. Like, now you've screwed everything up because you're a screw up. You just don't know how to fucking do this shit. Okay. You can even just say, okay. I take what you're saying. I accept that. That's fine. Okay. I did screw it up. Yep. I did mess it up. You're right about that. That's it. That's all you gotta say. Okay. Again, you don't have to, I'm not saying to bow down to people and to be groveling and be like, yeah, I'm a fuck up. I suck. No, it's just accept what they're saying. Let them have their negative energy. Let them do it. If they want to, don't fight against it, because as you fight against it, right, whichever way you go, I'm reading a really good book. Well, it's debatable whether it's really good yet so far, but there's some good things about it, which is the trans-surfing. Okay. I know it's been like a popular book in certain circles, but he talks about the idea of a pendulum, and I think that's extremely useful, is that a pendulum gains energy whether it's in the negative or the positive. And so when someone is attacking you, someone's being negative to you, if you fight against that, you're actually pushing the pendulum. You're actually making it have power. Whereas ignoring someone is the way to stop the pendulum. Ignoring the pendulum is the way to stop it. And so if you think of it that way, it doesn't really matter what other people think of you. Does it really matter? I mean, perhaps it matters to someone that it's significant in your life, but even then, do you think that you're going to change their mind by fighting against their negative? Especially if someone's coming at you with negative, don't fight it. Don't fight it, because it's how they feel. It's what they're expressing. And when you fight against that, then you're trying to control them. You're trying to control, like, my daughter was saying, well, she doesn't have any right to treat me that way or to say these things to me. And I was like, no, she has every right to. It's her choice. You don't have any right to stop her, is what it is. You have the right to not listen to it, to not let it affect you, to walk away. You have the right to do a lot of different things, but she has the right to take the action. Now, you have the right to smack her in the face, and we talked about that too. I was like, but that's probably not good, right? Like, that's your choice. And that's the thing, is like, people confuse boundaries. They think that boundaries prevent someone from doing something. It's like, I set this boundary and they're violating my boundary. No, sorry, nobody can violate your boundary. It's not something that they can violate. The boundary is for you. The boundary is for you to set a limit, to say, when this happens, this is how I am going to react. This is what I'm going to do in response to this. I'm not going to allow myself to be guilted or to be manipulated, or allow myself to make other people's feelings more important than my own, such that I do things in order to please people, or things that make me feel uncomfortable, or things that I don't want in my life. I'm making a choice to choose the things that I do want. That's what a boundary really is. It's not about preventing someone else. No one can really violate your boundary, because they have the right to do whatever they want to do. If you're trying to stop someone from doing what they want to do, you are controlling them. That is literally the definition of it. Or you're attempting to control them. You can't actually control someone, but you're going to attempt to control them. And the more that you attempt to control people in reality, in situations, the more frustrated you're going to be. Okay? The more upset you're going to be all the time. And it's just like the video I did about letting go of expectations. This is exactly the same thing, because it all comes down to the same thing. There is only one concept, which is awareness, which is acceptance. That is the one concept, is acceptance of what reality is. It all boils down to that. And so when you're thinking about control, and you want to have control over your life, take control of your life. No one has to give you control over your life. You take it. If you're not sure about the subject, read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor, right? He was not in control of his environment. A lot of people, quote, controlled him. But did they really? He didn't allow them to, because he didn't allow them to get inside him and to make him feel ways and to make him think things. Sure, they might have been able to make him do things, but that's not really control. That doesn't matter. In fact, no one can make you do a thing if you make the choice to do a thing. There's a Stoic saying, or not a saying, but a Stoic analogy, let's say, of a story of the dog and the cart. Okay, the dog is chained to the cart. The cart goes. Now this dog has two choices because he's going the direction that cart's going. Okay, I promise you, he's chained by the neck. He can be dragged by the cart, or he can go along the cart, go the direction that the cart's going. Now, one of those things is him being controlled, being dragged by the cart. The other one is him recognizing the situation and him taking control. You're in the same boat. If you think that you're ever going to have total freedom in life and to be able to do whatever the fuck you want, you're wrong. There is always going to be something that is going to dictate your life. The only place you have total freedom is in your lucid dream, okay? If you have a lucid dream, then you can totally make the world and do whatever you want. But plenty of things are going to dictate your life. Plenty of things are going to dictate what happens in your life that is like the cart. You can't control. Yeah, you might be able to be in a power position where you could make people do what you want, but you can't win their hearts. And even so, there's just physical limitations, okay? You're going to get older. You can't control that. And you might get injured and you can't control that. And you're going to get sick and you can't control that. So you can either go along with that cart or you can be dragged by it. And that's the reality of the situation, is that you're never going to have that. Like there's always a cart pulling you, okay? But it doesn't have to pull you. You can be walking along that cart. And that's what this whole thing is about not fighting reality, not fighting people, going with the flow of the direction that things are going. It doesn't mean that you can't go after your goals and things in life, but use the flow of reality of what's happening in order to do that, as opposed to fighting against it, which is going to be energy draining, and you're never going to really win in doing that. And so the more, if you feel like you don't have control and you have control issues and you don't like the idea of other people controlling your life or controlling you, the simple solution to that is to let go, is to stop fighting, because no one can control you. You make that choice. People can talk all they want. They can do all they want, but you internally get to make that choice. So if you fight that stuff, then you are letting people control you. Because if you react to someone's attempts to control you, then that becomes the control. Then you actually have voluntarily given up your control and have chosen to give it to them, because now they have the ability to manipulate you in that way. And so all you have to really recognize is it doesn't matter what they actually think. It doesn't matter what they actually say. You can still make your own decisions and do your thing. And there are going to be situations where the cart is going and you are chained to that cart. And so you're going to have to do the thing that, like I was telling my daughter, because she asked about her mother, right? My ex. And she said, well, what when she says something, or she says something mean to me or whatever, and it's like, don't fight it. Like, yeah, you might not be able to walk. She's like, I can just walk away. You might not be able to walk away, but you can just not fight. Even if she says something mean to you, do you have to fight that thing? I mean, sure, it hurts, like, you know, whatever, but do you have to fight the thing? Can you just accept what she's saying? Do you have to fight against what she's saying? You don't have to fight against, even if she's wrong. If she judged you wrongly, okay. As soon as you do that, in fact, if you do this, if someone judges you wrongly and you say, okay, I take what you're saying. Or you admit what you can, what fault you can. Like, yeah, I no justification, no defense. Just, yeah, that I did screw up. You're right about that. Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. That you're right about that. I did screw up. Even if they're saying it harshly, how much more can they pile on? How much more can they keep on going? At some point, they're going to be like, wow, like I don't have anything to push against. This guy's just giving it to me. So you see what I'm saying? Like you have to do that if you want to gain control of yourself in your life. And it's just this illusion. You believe for some reason, we all do to some degree, that people need to understand us, that they need to agree with us, that they need to understand our motives or why we did things right, or not judge us poorly. Myself included, I fall into this. But that's not true. It's certainly not true at all. It doesn't matter. And the more that it is true to you, the more that you care about those things, the more fucks that you give, as Mark Manson would say, the more that people will have you, the less control that you're going to have in your life. I'll see you tomorrow.